Glad you called. Glad you're here. Rush Limbaugh, the EIB Network, on a roll. Hour number 3 of broadcast excellence is in your face.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program, America Held Hostage.
Hey.
And now, from our studios in New York City,
Just noticed something
here is Rush Limbaugh.
My volume control potentiometer has been fixed. There's no static in it. And they said they didn't fix it. It just fixed itself. Today is day 436 for the poor and the middle class. Days of the raw deal we're counting here. Day 455 for the rich and the dead. And 1,030 days of whining, excuses, and yet to be discovered exposés left. 16 days until your taxes are due. It's time for a Whitewater and Cattle Futures update, ladies and gentlemen. It's a stampede. Whoa. Angry bunch of bulls here. 40,000 pounds of beef on the hoof per contract in the cattle futures market. All right, let's go to this. I'm just going to bring you up to speed on all the latest developments. Analysts have weighed in. This is why I did not bust a socket yesterday trying to get in on this, because I knew that the people in the know in the cattle futures market would pore over those tax returns and render judgments. It has happened. I have a variety of those to tell you about. First, I want to remind you, yesterday, this program, I personally offered to Mrs. Clinton a chance to, shall we say, rehabilitate her reputation on this. I said, Mrs. Clinton, I will put $10,000, my own hard-earned cash, money that your husband has yet to take from me, in an account bearing your name. This will be in the cattle futures market. I will open the account. I'll also throw in a free subscription to the Wall Street Journal, so you can use it again in researching your trades. And do it again, Mrs. Clinton. Score big time. Prove to everyone that this was not an accident or a quirk or something else. We have not heard from the White House on this golden opportunity being offered by the EIB Network and me particularly. Okay. Just going down the list in no particular order. The records released by the Clintons do not validate Mrs. Clinton's claim that she began by investing $1,000 of her own money. All the records show is that her account was opened with $1,000, but there is no record that it was her own money. There is no canceled check. John Podesta, the White House staff secretary, told the New York Post that Mrs. Clinton wrote out a check and sent it in. But he said he didn't know whether she still has the canceled check. Commodities brokers said that Mrs. Clinton's monthly activity statements were unusual because they gave no indications she paid any broker's fee, as is normally the case. And of course, I dabble a little bit in the stock market. I'm relatively new to that, and I can tell you, you have to hire people to do it. And when I get my statements, it's clearly delineated how much they've charged me to handle my business. You can't miss it. The records suggest that at times Mrs. Clinton, at times Mrs. Clinton was trading as many as 65 cattle contracts at once. without being required to put up enough funds to cover the risk. 65 cattle contracts at one time. Here's a quote from Bruce Babcock, who publishes the Commodity Traders Consumer Report. Quote, "They were not keeping her to the rules. The brokerage is exposing itself to a lot of liability if it lets a beginning trader go in there and overtrade." Many analysts focused on Mrs. Clinton's very first trade, where the record suggests she put up $1,000 and made $5,300 in a single day. The White House says it's pretty certain the trades involved only cattle futures. However, it is impossible to make $5,300 in the cattle futures market on a single contract on a single day, says a broker, adding that a $1,000 investment wouldn't cover more than one contract. On October 12, 1978, the day when Mrs. Clinton's account records the $5,300 gain, the cattle futures market moved a maximum of 100 points, meaning the maximum possible gain was $400 on a single contract. You see, folks, it doesn't jibe. There are other analysts who have weighed in. The rate of increase for Mrs. Clinton in her investment, if carried over a 4-year period, would have been a profit to her of $100 billion. To give you an idea of the proportion of her profit, she made a 10,000% profit, turning $1,000 into $100,000. That's the same as turning that into, what, $100 billion if she had stayed in this over a 4-year period and had done this consecutively in those years. A $100 billion profit. Now, the point about that is that if the players in the commodities futures market, the cattle futures market, see somebody scoring this big, a bunch of them rush in. This would keep people in the game. If somebody is turning a profit this high, people will be saying, man, that's where we ought to go. The point here is that the profit she was earning was not widely known. Now, you might speculate as to why that would be. It's because she really wasn't earning that kind of profit. It was because winning trades somehow ended up in her account. Occasionally some losing trades, but don't forget her broker, Robert Red Bone, has been disciplined for parking trades in various accounts. In fact, I've done some research. I have found out that the commodity futures market, like any other business, they've got their best customers. And sometimes winning trades are kind of shoveled into best customers' accounts. It has happened. Yes, indeedy. Also, a new analysis of Mrs. Clinton's net worth has been made. It's now estimated by experts at more than $1 million in net worth. Mrs. Clinton's $1 million includes shares in Liz Claiborne, Box Energy Corporation, TCBY Enterprises, Walmart stores, plus Arkansas State bonds, IRAs, and her partnership interest in Value Partners One, Ltd. Also, Money Magazine has recalculated, now with these new tax returns from 77, 78, and 79. They have recalculated the Clintons' tax, they've re-audited, shall we say, the Clintons' taxes, and guess what? According to the experts at Money Magazine, the Clintons have underpaid their taxes since 1977 by $100,000, about $99,000 and some change. The original audit, well, that's counting penalties and interest from 77. That's not the number, the exact number they're underpaid. That's penalties and interest as well. In Money Magazine's first audit of the returns from 1980 through, 91, it was or maybe 92, it was $45,000 that the Clintons owed in penalties and interest. but now they've re-audited and they find it's closer to $100,000. Also, don't know if it's a related story or not, you be the judge. Boxes of records from Madison Guaranty Savings and Loan were abandoned in a rented storage room and then dumped in the trash, according to the owner of the rental company, the rental storage company. Ralph Bozeman, owner of Storage World, said an employee who managed the storage space threw out about 3 or 4 boxes left behind by Madison Guaranty Savings and Loan in 1990. Bozeman said his records show that Madison rented the space from January 5, 89 to May 16, 1990. And on that date, May 16, 1990, Madison moved most of its records out but left a few boxes behind. Bozeman said the manager told him there was stuff left over and that he was unsuccessful in reaching anyone at Madison. So they threw the stuff out because they needed more storage space for other clients. Also, as we conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I have a suggestion. Knowing what we know now, knowing the great risk that Mrs. Clinton took, taking her family's perhaps last $1,000, in a desperate attempt for financial solvency, 2 big-hearted, well-intentioned liberals who knew they'd never have a dime, but didn't care. It was an honor to them to take low-paying jobs. It was virtuous for them to lose money. So they say. Nevertheless, had to provide for their daughter. And so they took that last $1,000 and they put it at risk in one of the riskiest places in the American financial world, cattle futures. This risk, ladies and gentlemen, was enough to cause stress sufficiently so that after 1 year and only a 1 or 10,000% profit, the stress was so great that this young woman, trying only to feed her family, got out of this risky investment. Their last $1,000. Think of the Waltons. Think of Walton Mountain, ladies and gentlemen. Think of the Waltons and taking the last $1,000 of the family from the cookie jar and taking it down to whoever you have to take it to and say, I want to turn this into some big money. And so you find some people say, hey, I got the perfect place for it. We have seen warning labels on drugs. We have seen television commercials which feature disclaimers, don't try this at home. Even I on this program have warned callers, don't try being me on the phone. I make this look so easy, anyone thinks they can do it. But don't try it at home. On packs of cigarettes, the Surgeon General warns. Stock car races on Saturday afternoon on ESPN. This is a professional stunt driver. Don't try this in your hometown. We have a serious problem here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not kidding around. I'm not tweaking. I'm not exaggerating to make a point. Hillary Rodham Clinton's commodity speculation and the explanations they offer have created a real, serious problem in America today. Some of us in this country are irresponsible, and some of us are impressionable. And those two characteristics, irresponsible and impressionable, coupled with gullibility, make these people terribly at risk now. Because you see, a whole class of people, a whole class of liberals look to Hillary Rodham Clinton as an icon, not just a role model, but an icon, as a saint. She has lived the life we should all live. She has the values we should all have. She has the intelligence we should all have. The impression that she turned $1,000 into $100,000 in cattle futures in just a year could influence the young, the impressionable, seasoned citizens who've been getting by on 2.5% in their CDs. And how about the people now taking a bath in the stock market, looking for a better rate of return? How about the people who've seen the value of their portfolios plummet as interest rates have risen and stock prices have fallen. The gamblers in America, the career women, everybody in all of these groups might just say, hey, that's what I'll do. I'll go to the cattle futures market. I'll do what Hillary did. She can do it. She's paving the way. She's showing the way. She's shining the light. She's telling us how to do it. She's our role model. I'll do what she did. My friends, if you are in this group, don't do this. 90% of the people who do what Mrs. Clinton did lose their shirts. Over half of the brokers involved in Mrs. Clinton's accounts, one way or the other, went bankrupt during the time she turned a 10,000% profit. As a public service, as a radio program and host interested in only the best for the American people, I have an official proposal. It is that the Clintons have the decency, the compassion, the caring to put a warning label on all commodity trading slips on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Have it done by Monday. The warning would state, don't try this unless you are politically connected in a small southern state. That warning must be printed soon, otherwise misfortune could strike millions.
You're listening to the EIB Network. What was so damaging about the Whitewater file that caused Vincent Foster to lose his life the very day investigators were coming to remove it? Now, American Spectator reporter James Adams reconstructs the secrets in the stolen Whitewater file and uncovers a web of corruption that reaches from Arkansas to the highest office in the land. The shocking report reveals never-before-published evidence of blatant political plundering that ruined innocent lives and cost U.S. taxpayers $50 million. Call 1-800-453-4005. And we'll rush you our free investigative report on Whitewater, along with 12 issues of the American Spectator, the magazine all of America is talking about, for just $34.95. Call now, and you'll also receive the White House rap sheet, which details 39 criminal statutes potentially violated by the Whitewater gang, with fines and jail terms included. Call 1-800-453-4005. Don't wait for the independent counsel report. Find out why the Clintons are stonewalling for their political survival. Call 1-800-453-4005 now and ask for the American Spectator.
Do you know there are only 44 sounds in the English language? 44. And when you learn these 44 sounds called phonics, you can read and spell almost everything. That's why Hooked on Phonics is so successful. We've set these 44 sounds to music, making learning to read simple and fun. So get hooked on phonics and take the mystery out of learning to read. Call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
State Office Equipment Company has discount office furniture for less. Stacking chairs are only $27.95 and only $29.95 with arms. Storage cabinets, 72 by 18 by 36, only $115. Folding metal chairs start at just $6.95 and folding tables start at only $36. And State Office Equipment Company has used furniture for sale and delivery available. Get office furniture for less at State Office Equipment Company, 2211A East Ash Street, Goldsboro. Open Monday through Thursday, 8:30 till 5:30 and 8:30 till 5 on Friday.
If you're a self-employed or small business owner, then grab a pencil and write this number down. 1-800-331-NASE. You'll be calling the National Association for the Self-Employed. NASE is one of the largest group associations in the U.S. Here are just some of the benefits you'll enjoy as a member. A true voice in Washington. Travel benefits, free small business consultancy, and up to 45% off computers and software. Now, there are many more benefits, but the most popular one is the NASE-endorsed health insurance, underwritten by PFL Life Insurance Company. You'll receive your choice of doctors and hospitals anywhere in the world. You can't be singled out for rate increases or cancellations. For more information from the field services of the National Association for the Self-Employed, call 1-800-331-NASE. That number again is 1-800-331-NASE. Join the group that's looking out for you, the National Association for the Self-Employed. The number to call right now is 1-800-331-NASE.
Are our laws adequate enough to fight the increase in violent crime in North Carolina? Governor Jim Hunt.
We can pass all the laws we want to. We need to pass some tough ones. But we've also got to move this fight down to the community and the neighborhood level. And all of us have got to wage it together to protect our families.
Crime is everybody's business. Get involved in school and neighborhood programs now. Crime is everybody's business. Get involved in the fight today.
Friends, welcome back to EIB Network, Linden, California. This is Ryan. Hello, sir. Welcome to the Rush Limbaugh program.
Mega cherry capital of the world dittos, Rush.
Thank you, Pat.
About a year ago, President Clinton proposed the $12 billion emergency job stimulus package.
That's right. Republicans defeated it, handing him a victory.
Yes, and then later, Laura D'Angelo Tyson, in a Wall Street Journal article, said that the health care program might cost us about 500,000 jobs. So I'm thinking we're going to spend $12 million to create jobs, but then a little bit afterwards we're going to have health care, and then we're going to lose all these jobs.
Yeah, but when she said it was going to cost 500,000 jobs, she said those jobs are going to be made up just like that. They didn't leave themselves hanging out there with a net loss of 500,000 jobs. That's what critics are saying is going to happen here. By the way, that reminds me, I still got to do my health care story. Tell me again what your point is, though, Lyndon or Ryan.
Well, my point is that how can they get away with saying America will be over if we don't get these 500,000 jobs created? Then they come out a little later, and then they say, well, our health care program might cost us 500,000 jobs, but everybody will have health care. I mean, if it was such an emergency to get these jobs, how can we just get rid of them a little later down the road?
I'm glad you recall that. That's a great point. I want to stress something here. It gives me an opportunity to stress something. When President Clinton wanted this emergency stimulus package of $16 to $19 billion to create jobs, remember, if we didn't get it, the cities were going to burn. George Mitchell said it. Benjamin Chavis said it. The cities would burn in the summer if we didn't get it. We didn't get it because Republicans defeated it. But we needed that because the economy was in such bad shape. We needed to jumpstart the economy. Well, in the end of the year, we had that was last year, at the end of the year, we had that great fourth quarter of over maybe 7.5%. Everybody's talking about what a great first year the Clinton presidency was, how many major achievements there were, and so forth. Look, the deficit's down and all this. And the logical question ought to be, and again, it goes to hypocrisy and credibility and honesty. That's all it goes to. And if you don't care about that, which many of you don't, then it's a worthless exercise. But it does matter to me. Because when a guy is going to take credit for a great first year and only 6 months previous was talking about dismal failure economically, does he really know what's going on? No. He'll just try to scare you as often as he can to get his plans passed. That's what this is. It's a crisis-mongering administration. Great call, Ryan. We'll be right back, folks. I have been proudly telling you about the Conservative Chronicle for over 5 years now. It's a tremendous publication, and now more than ever, you need the Conservative Chronicle just to keep up with all that's being written about White Watergate and the Clintons from the top conservative writers of our time. Order now, get 52 weekly issues packed full of conservative commentary and cartoons, all for just 80 cents a week, $42 a year. With your credit card, call 800-888-3039 for the Conservative Chronicle. 800-888-3039.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
This is Wayne Alley. Two of the most controversial issues nationwide in health care reform are the employer's mandate and cost monitoring as proposed by the president. Congressman Martin Lancaster told Goldsboro Rotarians he does not think either of those controversial issues will be included in the final health care reform program.
I don't think we'll have the mandate. I don't think we also will put in place the federal bureaucracy requested by the president to monitor and control cost growth. I think we will, first of all, try to use competitive market forces to keep the cost down. And if those fail, then we may have to look at some more bureaucratic scheme. But I don't think Congress at this point is willing to add to the federal bureaucracy the mechanism that would be necessary to monitor and control cost in a bureaucratic fashion.
Congressman Martin Lancaster. Republican 3rd Congressional District candidate Walter B. Jones Jr. says passage of the tobacco tax measure last Tuesday was the first stage in a long legislative process, and he's committed to fighting for absolutely no increase in the tax on tobacco. Jones contends an example of politics over principle has backfired into the faces of the people of eastern North Carolina. He said Martin Lancaster and other Democrats towed the Clinton line. Jones declared the Clintons and Californians who do not want wine taxed more and the Texans who do not want the gas tax raised do not see any need to bargain. Jones feels the push to tax eastern North Carolina to death is not about health care. He contends it's about political expediency and went on to say we're suffering from taxation without representation. Just how effective was the crime session of the General Assembly in fulfilling its goal of putting and keeping violent criminals behind bars? WGBR News put that question to Representative Carolyn Russell, and she's of the opinion that it helped because we're building more prisons and providing more beds, but she suggested the relief may be only temporary because of the overwhelming numbers of offenders.
Knowing the number of people currently that are committing crimes and going into the system, I think we've got our finger in the dike. I think we're going to have those new beds and that we're going to be able to keep people behind bars. However, the number of people committing crimes and the situations out there, they're not enough criminals are going to be behind bars, in my opinion.
Representative Carolyn Russell. And in case you were wondering, the post office is going to be open tomorrow and Monday. I'm Wayne Alley.
We can expect to see a little sunshine and quite a bit of cloud cover today. We'll call it variably cloudy. Still some scattered showers, but it looks like that major area of heavy rain and moderate rain that covered a broad area has finally moved on through. Highs today in the mid-50s to near 60. Clearing tonight, lows 35 to 40. Tomorrow, back to the sunshine. It'll be a pleasant day with highs in the low to mid-60s. I'm Bill Schmidt at the Weather Center.
Committee and AT&T.
A reminder, be out on vacation next week. Mary Madeline, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Walter Williams on Thursday and Friday. Sunday, I am the Sunday Night Conversation on ESPN's 1 Hour Sports Center, 11 o'clock Eastern Sunday night. We'll do the interview tomorrow morning. Dan Patrick from ESPN will be here to do that. And then a week from Monday, and I'm telling you this now because I won't have a chance to tell you now. Hey, Mr. Snerdley, I just thought of this. Would you make sure that Mary and Walter next week just don't overdo it? You know, I don't want to. I mean, you don't want to have to do it every day, every hour, whatever minute, whatever. But make sure they mention the Hearts of Fire appearance because I won't have a chance to. What do you mean? Can we play a clip? You mean an audio clip? Do we have an audio clip here? Yeah, I've got it at home. So I've seen the show. They got to cut 6 minutes out. I've got a show. It's 28 minutes and 30 seconds, and they got to cut 6 minutes out of that. And I hope it's not. Those 6 minutes are not me. If you get my drift. They say, give us those 6 minutes. We'll play those. No, you won't because it's not me. But no, it's a show based about me, and I'm not just a cameo. And I've got to tell you something, folks. When I was out in Los Angeles doing this last month, February, I made mention of this on the air then. I enjoyed the heck out of it because it was such a change of pace, and it was something I'd never done before and wanted to do well. And it was long days, but it was just a lot of fun. And I think the end product's okay. I mean, I feel be able to tell that I'm acting for the first time, but it's good. I mean, they make me warm, lovable, fuzzy, and romantic. Yeah. When we move into Hollywood. Hey, Harry Thomason was on Mary Madeline's TV show, and he said, hey, one phone call, Rush could have his own sitcom. And I think, yeah, I can see myself finally going on the Larry King show. So tell me, when do you want to direct, Rush? Still they care about that in Keokuk. Hey, guess what, Myrtle? I just heard Tom Hanks say he wants to direct his next movie. I didn't know that. Way to go, Lair. Really filling the American mind with vital information. No, I think Mary's going to have Harry on the show next week to talk about this. Yeah. So, anyway, I hope you watch it because it's fun. Fun show. Now my healthcare story. I got to be real careful here because it's a true story, and I got to change names, towns, situations to protect the guilty. And really, there's no guilt here. The reason I'm going to tell you this story is precisely because it's real. And the Clinton plan the Clinton plan will, as written, see to it that what happened in this story to make everything okay may not be able to happen. A person, I'm not going to name the person's sex, a person came down with a curious malady. This curious malady was thought by the person or the patient to be just a regular, ordinary, everyday, common variety of trouble. And so, languished for some period of time thinking that it would get better. But it didn't. It got progressively worse, and this common, ordinary, or supposed common, ordinary, everyday malady got to the point that hospitalization was required. And at this point, the fears of the family and friends were heightened a bit. And for 2 weeks, some of the best people, some of the most well-intentioned people in the medical community tried to find out what was wrong. For 2 weeks, batteries of tests after batteries of tests upon batteries of tests were taken. All the test results came back negative, which means there's nothing wrong here, nothing wrong there. Nothing was wrong anywhere, save for a possibility. The possibility was treated in the hospital according to what one would normally treat this little malady, and how one would treat this. The treatment resulted in only the slightest bit of improvement, sufficient enough, though, to send the patient home with the word, hey, it may just take some time, but you'll eventually get over it. Well, upon arriving back home, the patient continued to languish in the somewhat improved state, but nowhere near recovered health state. And then all of a sudden it began to worsen once again with the same exact symptoms. At this point, advice was given. Why not don't you seek a specialist in this particular area? There was resistance at first. No, I've seen the best people there are, and they've tried everything they could, and this is just, I'm just going to have to live with this. No, you don't. Well, the best specialist, so-called best-rated specialist in the world or in the country, happened to be in another state. And so a visit was arranged. The patient visited the specialist. And in a matter of 10 minutes, with a simple X-ray, the problem was diagnosed. Everything but this X-ray had been done in those weeks of batteries of tests. The X-ray showed conclusively the problem. The specialist said, this is a snap. Seen these all the time. Simple outpatient surgery. It was scheduled for 3 weeks later because the specialist was busy. The patient returned to the specialist's clinic, not office, clinic, had the surgery, outpatient surgery, and has fully recovered. Now, it was all because one X-ray was not taken. Amongst a battery of tests, one X-ray was not taken. The solution to the problem was surgery. Surgery took place, everything's done. Do you know that under the Clinton health care plan, this patient may not have been able to visit this clinic because this clinic would be outside the patient's alliance? And who knows if this clinic would even be in business. Because doctors can't choose what they do. Every doctor is going to have to become a member of an HMO. Everybody's wondering, well, what about the Mayo Clinic? Nobody knows what will become of the Mayo Clinic. Or do they? Nobody knows. I mean, it's not specified. These are all unanswered questions. If the Clinton healthcare plan passed as written, why has this specialist that I cite become a specialist? And how did he become the best specialist in the world? Well, because he had the freedom to choose the area of expertise he wanted to get into in medicine. And because he worked hard and has some talent, I'm sure, he's become renowned as one of the best as a specialist. It's all he does is this one particular area. And it's gotten so good that he has clients from around the world, patients from around the world, and they come to his clinic. And you just don't know if this kind of thing will be allowed to start up under the Clinton health care plan. They want to de-emphasize specialists, everybody becoming like a GP, general practitioner. And it really hit home to me when I heard this story. And the first question I had was, well, wait a minute, what if this specialist would have been outside this patient's alliance? And what if the so-called insurance that the alliance negotiated wasn't transferable to some other alliance? In some cases, what happened in this situation, if this patient, I don't know if this happened, if the patient paid this doctor out of the patient's bank account, back pocket, both of them have committed a crime under the Clinton health care plan. You have to go through the HMO, you have to present that card, you have to have the alliance pay the bill. The doctor can't accept payment from a patient. The patient can't pay the doctor, even if after hours. So none of this could have happened, or very little of it, without a whole lot of bureaucratic red tape and a lot of people on health boards granting permission. Hi, I'm patient X, and I got this problem, requires a specialist, and I need to go down to this state and this town to get it done. Can I? We'll get back to you. Who knows? But those are all possibilities. Whereas problem was diagnosed, patient had freedom to go to any part of the country, doctor had freedom to treat anybody he sought to, and in a matter of minutes, the problem was fixed. After fine doctors and nurses had tried for weeks to figure out what was wrong. We'll be back after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about an important article appeared on the front page of the science section in the March 1st, 1994 New York Times. It was a rather comprehensive report on something called folic acid, or folate, or folacin. Now, I've heard about the important benefits of folate from my good friends at the Florida Department of Citrus. See, they've learned a lot about it, as have others. Now, you women out there, especially those of you of childbearing age, pay particular attention to this. Because the New York Times reports that folate is well established as critically important in preventing spina bifida and anencephaly, both devastating birth defects of the neural tube. A nationwide effort is underway urging women to increase their intake of foods containing folate. Now, guess what? Orange juice provides 75 to 109 micrograms of folic acid per cup. It's the leading source of this nutrient in the American diet, and Florida's growers produce the best juicing oranges. Drink it and love it.
15 minutes. That's all it takes to get set up with Mortgage Service America. Mortgage rates are heading up, so don't wait any longer. Call 1-800-808-1234. That's 1-800-808-1234. Mortgage Service America has several loan programs, including one that will be sure to fit your needs. Whether you've refinanced recently or not, call Mortgage Service America at 1-800-808-1234. VA, FHA, and conventional mortgages, Mortgage Service America is ready to help you. You can still save hundreds, even thousands of dollars by calling Mortgage Service America now. Many programs include no points and no closing costs. But don't wait any longer. Call Mortgage Service America, 1-800-808-1234. Interest rates may be creeping back up, but if you act now, it's not too late to save hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Rates subject to change, so call quickly. Certain restrictions apply. Mortgage Service America. Call 1-800-808-1234.
A.G. Farrell and Son of Mount Olive, your CP&L quantity heat pump dealer, is offering a sweet deal. Just buy a Train XL 1100 Weathertron heat pump before May 31st, and you'll receive up to $150 in quick savings rebates on the spot. The XL 1100 comes with a legendary Climate-Tough compressor and an exclusive manufacturer's 10-year limited warranty on the compressor and coil. It's hard to stop a Train and hard to beat a rebate from A.G. Farrell and Son of Mount Olive. Call 658-2971.
Knowles Carpet has been serving Goldsboro and Wayne County for over 45 years with quality installation of carpet and floor covering. Family dedication to this business has been enjoyed by thousands of customers. Joining Carpet One 5 years ago gave Knowles Carpet the additional buying power of 450 other stores to bring you the best prices available. Put it all together, and it means quality floor covering and expert installation by a truly family-dedicated business. Knowles Carpet, your Carpet One store, 2311 Wayne Memorial Drive, Goldsboro.
WGBR.
We have more phone calls. A bank of blinking lights. Who knows what excitement lurks? Westchester County here in New York. This is Larry. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Rush. I have an opinion for the apparent indifference of the general public to Whitewater and the allegations about investing irregularities.
I'd like to hear it.
Well, I don't believe that the main media has made it clear that if these allegations are true, that the Clintons were guilty of political corruption, that they were selling political favors for money. I don't think most people consider that financial investment irregularities add up to very much.
Well, I agree with that, but how's the press supposed to do it? You know, you can get before you have any evidence of that and you start speculating on that, you can perhaps get into some trouble.
Oh, I understand that. And
are you suggesting that when it was Ed Meese and other that they were blatantly suggesting that it was criminal or corrupt or whatever, and they're just withholding using those words here?
I think that they could spell out more clearly the consequences if the allegations are true.
I agree with that. I think you got a point here. I really do.
Well, I think that most people would be outraged if they realized there's nothing worse for a public figure.
No, the Eleanor Clift group wouldn't.
Well, this is what drove Spiro Agnew out of office, and many lesser politicians have been indicted and have gone to jail for exactly what these people are accused of. Now,
for less.
Oh, far less. That's correct.
Far, far less.
And I think the public would be outraged if they recognized the ramifications of these charges. I don't suggest they should be accused of that.
Yeah.
I think someone, and you have certainly gone further than anyone else. I think someone.
I have.
Yeah. But again, it's you have to concern yourself with actions. But if they realize the consequences, if these allegations prove to be true, I think the public would take it much more seriously. So keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Larry. Glad you held on. Here's Natalie in Farmington, Missouri. Welcome to the EIB Network, Natalie.
Hello, Megadittos, right?
Thank you very much. I've been to Farmington.
You have? Well, you grew up about 60 miles away from here at Cape Central, right?
That's right.
We play you guys for our opening football game next year.
Really? We never played Farmington back then. Our team must have really gotten bad now.
We've changed districts, and we're going to play you guys down in Cape Central next year.
Farmington, I don't mean to impugn you here, Natalie, but Farmington's where the state mental hospital is.
Everybody says that. I know, but it's really no big deal. We don't really think about it much.
It's the jury pool for Arkansas now, so.
Well, this is the deal here. I'm 16 years old. I'm a junior at Farmington High School, and I want to get into radio and television.
Good for you.
And I basically sports journalism. And I had a chance to go to the Final Four this year with a press pass and meet Frank Fallon, who is the voice of the Final Four. And
Whoa, the radio voice of the Final Four?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he called me back and said that I couldn't go because President Clinton's going to be there, and they've tightened security, and they won't let anybody in that's not, official with the NCAA. So it's President Clinton's fault that I can't go to the Final Four this year.
You were going to go to Charlotte?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was.
Well, then, so you were going to be the guest of a person with a press pass?
Right.
Were you going to have a press pass?
Yes, I was going to have my own press credentials, and he was going to let me help him out and kind of be his gopher and kind of learn, what's going on, because that's what I want to do when I get, out of college. And it was a great opportunity for me, and because President Clinton's going to be there, I can't go.
That's unfortunate, but that those security concerns are legitimate. They have to. I don't know why they don't kick the fans out, though. I mean, I got to put. Really, I wonder if everybody's going to go in the metal detector. I'll bet so.
I guess.
That's going to happen.
They said that it's just really changed everything in the last couple of days.
Well, it does.
It's going to be crazy.
See, we here in New York have experience with this and have very little sympathy for those of you out in the hustings who deal with this. But when he comes to New York, you can forget about getting around for the whole time he's here, no matter who it is.
Right.
They shut down half the city. I mean, you ought to. You can take a look at Fifth Avenue, Park Avenue, Madison Avenue, wherever the president is going to be. Normally, at 2 in the morning, these streets are gridlocked. People will go through a red light and stop right in the middle of an intersection because they don't want to wait at a red, and then everybody starts honking horns.